By mid-September, this old lawn bowling green here in Niagara on the Lake will be transformed into an interactive monument to Niagara's and Canada's Black history. With today's announcement of more than $330,000 in federal funding, Voices of Freedom comes one step closer to completion.
We are here to celebrate our region's heritage, our history, and our stories. In many ways, Canada is a story, one of actions, taken by many individuals which went on to shape our national history as well as our national identity. Today we mark one such story. It is the story of Chloe Cooley, not widely known, but has deeply impacted this country from this region.
Today we take an important step in raising awareness of the Black experience in Canada. The Voices of Freedom Monument will pay tribute to the diverse voices of people of Canada's Black community. So our government is proud to be providing the sum total of $338,000 towards this monument through the Building Communities Through Arts and Heritage Fund.
John, this contribution from the federal government is a huge boost to this project coming to fruition.
It's fantastic. It tops us off. We're fully funded now. It is the icing on the cake. It's wonderful. Well, we're under the gun. Things are being produced and manufactured as we speak, but we're confident we'll make September 17th right now. It was in a very aggressive schedule and agenda, and to think that we've accomplished this in just under 2 years is quite incredible. So.
Wilma Morrison was here for today's announcement. It's great to see her as part of this project.
Wilma's a Canadian treasure, and early on we realized Wilma was really essential for our committee to be involved so that she'd guide us in the right path. And Donna Ford too has been absolutely fantastic on our committee, so couldn't have done it without them.
Wilma, can you describe your involvement as the honorary chair of this committee?
Well, I don't know. Someone mentioned my name and they approached me about the project. I was so taken away by it because you had to grow up at the time that I grew up where there was never a mention of the Black community. Mind you, we were less than 1% of the population, but the past few years has been wonderful, and we're growing closer to teaching our young people, all of the young people, about their ancestors' contribution to the community, to building the community.
Arif, how impressed were you by the fact that the community raised their half of the contribution towards this project before the federal government even announced that they were getting funding?
Well, very impressed. I mean, often, as was mentioned today, sometimes one has to follow the other, and usually it's when the feds step up that the community mobilizes. Here it was the absolute opposite, which demonstrates quite tangibly how involved and engaged the community is, how much they believe in it. It's one thing to dedicate volunteer hours, it's another thing to open up your wallets, and it's very, very important. You've got corporate sponsors, you've got the business community, you've got individual residents here in the Niagara region donating, and that really demonstrates that it's sort of a pan-Niagara phenomenon, sort of demonstrating what the impact of the Underground Railroad was, what role this community played in terms of pushing the fight against slavery within the British Commonwealth.
How important will this monument be to bringing all these cultures together?
I think it'll be critical. I mean, what's beautiful here is that you see a heterogeneous crowd, right? You see different faces that represent Niagara on the Lake here, because it's not just about one community. It's the Black Canadian story, definitely, but it's many people of all different races and backgrounds who are coming together to tell a story about injustice, but also about promoting equality. And I think now more than ever, we know that there are forces that seek to divide. We know that there are tensions. We know that there are issues about newcomers and settlements. That affects other countries in the world, but it's also affecting Canada.
Voices of Freedom will stand, of course, as an historical monument, but it will also incorporate some modern technology.
Yes, it's interactive, and that was key. We didn't want to just build a statue you come and look at, so we want people to be engaged as they walk through, to look at the dates, to hear the voices. We're working on an interactive app right now to further educate people on more voices and more Black history. That'll be something we'd like to tie into the local school system as well.
When I stand here and look at the old lawn bowling green, I see some dollar signs, and I think about the value of this property in a town like Niagara on the Lake.
There were 2 lots created here. At that time, I think they were valued at about $500,000 apiece. The houses would have been well over $1 million. But once the lot's gone, it's gone. So this land had never been built on. It was actually very important historically. General Brock was actually rested here during his funeral procession. And so it was really strategic for the town to do that. Really good vision and foresight.
Voices of Freedom is tentatively scheduled to open September 17th at the corner of Regent and Johnson Streets. Your TV is planning to broadcast the ceremony live. Reporting in Niagara on the Lake for The Source, I'm Mike Balsam.